Okay, we've gone through 3 reviews. Now we're going to go through the 4th one, and this one's totally different than the other 3 for sure. This is the CycleOps 300PT, which I know many of you have been asking me about over the past year. And what is the advantage of spending this kind of dough on an indoor trainer? Let's check it out and see if it's right for you. Tell me a little bit about the CycleOps here.
This is pretty much a very unique product in its class because unlike other things that you may see that look similar, this one looks like a bike, it feels like a bike, and most importantly, you can fit it exactly like your road bike, to the millimeter actually, through all the independent adjustments. So when Dave rides his normal bike outside and hops on this, there is absolutely no difference in position.
Really? So you can basically mimic your exact bicycle without having to actually use your bike?
Yep. It saves the wear and tear on your actual bike through a whole winter of training. And a lot of standout features on this. It's number one, it's about 150 pounds, and 50 of that is in the rear wheel.
50-pound flywheel.
Yeah, so it's very realistic. Solid powder coat finish, stainless steel hardware. So you can sweat all over these, and it's going to hold up well.
We've also got the aero positions up front here, so you can mimic a little bit more of a triathlon position.
Yep, definitely.
I know a lot of you are triathletes, and obviously if you're serious about your indoor training and you're going to be doing a lot of it, sometimes it's worth this kind of an investment.
Absolutely. Some of the other standout features are there's infinite adjustment of resistance on the fly just by turning this dial in either direction, as well as a handbrake on the other side.
Can you explain what you just said about this real quick again? I missed that, I guess.
Absolutely. It has infinite adjustment of resistance. So if you want to increase the actual resistance of this bike by turning the dial, it's going to be harder to pedal or easier to pedal.
So more like being at a gym facility with like a life cycle or something like that, you can adjust. Kind of like, again, it's handheld progressive tension.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Since you can't be quote unquote shifting gears with this bike, and Dave, why don't you start pedaling for us? So obviously there's no shifting, right?
Right.
So all you can do is adjust the tension to the rear flywheel.
Yep, absolutely, just by turning that dial.
And that's done with the brakes back here?
Yes. As you turn that resistance unit, the brakes clamp down on the wheel.
And again, not too noisy, so we don't have to raise our decibel level here to actually speak over the flywheel. Dave, how do you like the overall road feel of the product?
Feels great. The adjustment is very simple, and you can get a lot of resistance out of it.
Stand up for me. Compare it for me to the Kinetic or the Minora.
I'd say it's more along the lines of the Kinetic.
Okay. But obviously really solid underneath you.
Very stable.
Yeah.
There's no movement at all.
Now, Dan, talk to me a little bit about, obviously, some of the other things we've been discussing, which is a computer monitoring system, and what the advantages of this particular product would be.
This is the CycleOps Power Tap that we know and love from riding outdoors. So it basically gives you all the features of your cycling computer, as well as watts and all the important power information, as well as heart rate. So you can have a very structured workout with this.
So basically, a power tap is built into the system.
Yep, right into the hub.
And literally, it's just like the one you'd see on a road bike?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh. Okay, so advantages right away is that you've got a stationary device that if you're going to be doing a lot of indoor training, you're more obviously of a serious cyclist. How much does this thing cost, by the way?
About $2,000.
About $2,000. So kind of like think of it like a very expensive beater bike that never goes anywhere, that you're using really to do some pretty high-level training. Yeah?
Definitely.
So not for our fitness enthusiasts, maybe even not for our avid everyday cyclists, and if obviously budget is an issue, this is a pretty expensive bike. We talked about the Minora and the Kinetic and how to spend maybe between $200 and $300, and if you want to have some of these bells and whistles, you could do that by literally purchasing a power tap yourself or something comparable to be using on both your indoor bike and of course be able to bring that outside on your outdoor bike, which has advantages.
Definitely. Bang for your buck, I think that's the best way to do it. But for the enthusiast that does want a specific indoor cycle, this is a great way to go.
And you personally use the Kinetic.
Yes.
If money wasn't an issue, having ridden this, would you prefer this over the Kinetic?
Absolutely. If I was somebody who rode inside all the time during the winter and didn't jump outside a lot, I think I'd absolutely go with something like this.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of being able to hop on a bike that's always there without having to readjust it, without having to set the bike up, without having to worry about all the other junk that goes along with training inside, which I don't know about you, it's a pain in the butt for me if I'm swapping bikes out. Even if it has the power meter, it's just like, God, I just want to get on, get my workout done, and be done with it. Now, if you have a standalone trainer, whether it's like a Menora-like trainer or a Kinetic-like trainer, and you have a beater bike that's stationary on it, it kind of becomes comparable to this. Again, right away, you can see what I like about the adjustability here, the aerodynamic position, which I like, the simple adjustability, 50-pound flywheel, which again, that's a big deal. That means it's going to give you a lot of road feel, a lot of good durability. What's the, you said it was about $2,000.
Yes.
The $2,000 model comes with the power,
Yes.
cadence, heart rate.
Speed, average speed, trip distance, all the basic computer functions you
Right.
look for.
So if you're going to be doing cycle spin classes with me for the off season, can you use this bike? My answer is absolutely yes. The problem's going to be is when I'm going to be probably on an indoor trainer like the Kinetic. That means I'm going to be calling out gear shifts, things like that. You're going to have to adjust the tension based on those gear shifts. So again, it's going to kind of rely on you doing some basic testing to find out, where would the Big Ring 15 feel like on this bike. Now, if you have a power meter on your outdoor bike, that can get easier because if you have the power meter inside as well, you can get kind of a good adjustment based on cadence and adjusting your power accordingly. But that's going to have some loopholes. So again, if you want to use my classes, that's fine with this product, but just keep that in mind that this is going to be a different shout out of what I would be saying for you to do when I ask you to change the gears. Yeah?
Definitely.
So when you teach your guys' spin classes here at the studio, do you have people on these bikes?
Nope, we're all on the Kinetic Road machine.
Okay, so everyone's on the Kinetic Road machine. Again, we're talking about the higher level cyclists. If you're serious about indoor training, you want to measure the power. Can you download the power information to the computer from here?
Yes.
Oh, so this is really for that everyday cyclist that's got the power. Again, it looks to me like if you're gonna buy this, you already have a power meter on your road bike or your mountain bike. You're already using power. I couldn't justify spending this kind of money on this kind of thing unless I was going to be using the information. I know so many of you want to buy these things, and you have them, you got all these cool toys, but you don't really use what you've bought. So again, if that's the consideration, I'd rather have you spend money on good nutrition or training and a cheaper trainer with great road feel like the Kinetic or the Menora, and spend your money on other things. If you've already got that stuff, then I want this. I definitely do, for sure. I hope these have been helpful. Dan, I can't thank you enough for having us here.
Oh,
Dave, you've been great.
Thank you.
If you guys got any questions, I'm going to be actually directing you to Dave. So, right from the podcast or from wherever you're watching this, I'll be directing you for questions about these particular products. We're trying to set up arrangements to make sure you can get these products at discounted prices if you're a Cyclo-CLUB member. We haven't arranged that yet. We don't really care about that just yet. If you're interested in stuff, let Dave know or let me know, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Other than that, I'll see you in the club.